Hello and welcome to this video. In this lecture, we will be going through how to install Flutter and all its related tools that you need to run your Flutter app on macOS. Now to begin, firstly let's go to our App Store and make sure that you have Xcode downloaded. So if I search for Xcode in my App Store, here is Xcode, and now I'm going to click download. Make sure you have your account signed in, or otherwise you won't be able to download one. Now Xcode is a very large file, about 12.5 gigabytes, so I'm just going to pause my video now and I will restart this video once Xcode is done downloading and installing, and then I'll show you what happens when you click it for the first time. Xcode is now complete. We can open Xcode for the first time together. From our launchpad, let's click this app that you see. Click it one time. And I'll get rid of App Store. Let's wait a bit for Xcode to boot up. It's gonna take a little while for the first time because it has to check for some validation, configuration, and then it's gonna install some components for you. Alright, so let us accept the license, agree to it, put your password. Let Xcode finish installing its components. Open Xcode one more time. Alright, so Xcode is now properly installed. So now, I have already downloaded all these tools that we need to use Flutter with our macOS system. Now, I've already gone ahead and downloaded all of this so that I could save myself some time, but I will show you how to get each of those from a browser. So firstly, make sure that you have Google Chrome downloaded. If you search for download Chrome, you can see this first link and you can click into it. And then you can download Chrome. I will download each of the items that we have here and then I'll install one by one later together. So go ahead and download Chrome. Afterwards, search for download JRE for all operating system. Go ahead with the first link where it says Java downloads for all operating systems. Click into it and it should take you to a page like this where you can choose this macOS X download file. Click into it and it should start downloading. Afterwards, we need to download Android Studio. So search for download Android Studio. And then go with the first link that you see, Android Studio download, click into it. It will take you to the Android Studio download page where you can click this download Android Studio. You can accept the license and then download whichever is appropriate for your system. For me it's Intel chip, so I'll go with the Intel chip. If you are using Mac M1 chip or newer, please go ahead with the Apple chip. Then let's download VS Code. So search for download VS Code and you can go ahead with this link that says Visual Studio Code, Code Editing Redefined. I'll explain each of this what we are downloading later, but for now just bear with me and let's download. Here you can select this download Mac Universal, and if you click it, it will start downloading. Afterwards, let's search for Flutter. If you search for Flutter, it will show you this link here, Flutter Design Beautiful Apps. Let us click into it. And it will take us to the Flutter web page. As you can see, these are all the things that we can create ourselves with Flutter. Even BMW uses Flutter to make their own mobile app. Flutter could be used to make mobile apps, Windows apps, web app, macOS app, Linux app, and much more. Alright, with that being said, let us click this Get Started. And we are going to choose macOS. Here, go ahead with this button that says Flutter macOS 2.10.4. For me, this is 2.10.4. For you, it might be above, newer, but do not hesitate to download it. Just download, and every step that we take together will be pretty much the same. So click it and it will start downloading Flutter. Now I will keep this web page around because later we need to see some path configuration that we have here. We will need this later, not now. We will come back to it later. So with that, you should have all of this downloaded. Now you see Visual Studio Code is here. I can just take this Visual Studio Code and drag it into my applications. For you, if the Visual Studio Code is something like a zipped file, please double click it and it will unzip and give you this application. So just grab it and put it in application. Now let's go with Chrome. I already have installed Chrome before, so you can just double click and drag it to your application and you should be good to go. So I'll just remove this Chrome from here. Let us install JRE together. We can click Java 8 Update. Open. Install. Please provide your password. For me, I'm going to provide my own password. Alright, so JRE has installed properly. Let's close it. Remove this. We do not need this. And also I'm going to remove it from here. Now if we go to our applications folder, we should have the Visual Studio Code here. So let's click it. And I'll show you a few plugins that we need for Visual Studio Code. So click open. And here we have Visual Studio Code. I'll just drag it into here because I'll need it very often. And firstly, let's click this button here that will take us to the extensions marketplace and search for FLUTTER, Flutter. It will show you this Flutter. Go ahead and click this install. It's going to take just a little while to install this plugin Flutter, and it will also install its dependency plugin known as Dart. After we install Flutter and Dart, we will go ahead with a few theme changes for this IDE that we have here, Visual Studio Code, because I want my Visual Studio Code to show some upgraded icons and some upgraded theme. So let us wait just a bit for it to finish installing, and then we will follow along again. Alright, we are done installing Flutter and Dart. Let's search for a material, M-A-T-E-R-I-A-L. Click enter. And it will show you this material icon by Philip Keefe. Select it and click install. And we are going to choose this material icon theme from the pop-up. And we will also click activate. Afterwards, if you see this community, click into it. The name is Community Material Theme by this guy called Equinus Okio, I guess. And then click install. If you do not see this here, you can take this name and then search it here. Now for this pop-up, I'm going to go with Community Material Theme Darker High Contrast. Great. So we are done with the configuration of VS Code, and now we will go ahead and install Flutter. But before that, we are going to be installing Android Studio. So I'll just turn it off. We do not need this now. And let's go to my downloads. Let us now go through the installation of Android Studio. Let's double click the DMG file and let us drag it into the applications folder. Great. So we can remove this, get rid of this, and if we come to the launchpad, you see we have our Android Studio here. Click it. Open, and Android Studio is going to boot up for the very first time. We don't have to import anything, so let's click OK. We are just going to go with the default configurations. Go ahead and send statistics to Google. Next. I'm going to keep everything to standard. Please keep standard. You do not have to click custom. Keep everything to standard, please. Let's go next. And for me, I'd like to go with this Dracula theme. If you want, you could go with the light version, but I prefer Dracula. Click next. Next. I accept. For this one, I accept, and now finish. So it's going to take just a little while, and I'm going to pause the video here and I'll restart the video once it's done. The basic Android Studio setup is now complete. Let's click finish, and now we have some internal things that we need to download, specifically in 2 phases. So let's go with the first phase. Click More Actions and click SDK Manager. Inside of it, click SDK Tools. Here you want to select Android SDK Command Line Tools. Also everything that says Google Play. So click Google Play, Google Play, Google Play, Google Play. Also this Google WebDriver. Now this Intel Hexam should only be installed if you are using a Windows system. But sometimes with the macOS it doesn't install itself. So I'm just going to click it, but if it doesn't install, no problem. I'm going to select it, click Apply, OK, and it's gonna take some time to finish downloading. Click Next. This shouldn't be very long. This should be quite a small download relatively. The second phase of the download is now done. Let's click Next. I accept. Next. And we are good to go. Let's click Finish. Finish. And now onwards to the final step. Click More Actions, and now we are going to be installing a virtual Android device. So Virtual Device Manager, and click Create Virtual Device. Now you have a lot of device list that you see here. Please only select a device with the Play Store logo. So either select Pixel 4, 3a, 3 or 2. For me, I'll go with Pixel 3a with the Play Store. Click Next. And I'll download this Android API level 30. So I'll just download this. Let's wait for it to finish downloading. It's gonna take just a little while, so I'm just going to pause the video and come back once it's done. Now the third and final phase of component downloads and installation is done for Android Studio. We can click Finish and Next, Finish. And we have this new device with Android 11 at our disposal now. Cross to Finish. We do not need this Android Studio open anymore. I'll just get rid of this DMG. Now, the final step is this Flutter. Click your Macintosh HD. For me, it's Mac HD. Go to Users and select your user profile. Here, make a new folder called Developer, capital DEVELOPER. Just D is capital and everything else is in the lowercase. I'll sort it by snap to grid. Great. Now inside of this developer, we can take this Flutter and drag and drop into it. Great. Now everything is good and well. We have Flutter in our system, but our system doesn't know how to access Flutter. So we have to provide a path to the system. Let's click Command Shift and search for terminal. Here, write vim space shift tilde / dot ZSHRC. This tilde sign is the one below your escape button and on the left of your number 1 on the keyboard. So vim space tilde sign / dot ZSHRC. Click enter, and now we are in the vim mode. Click I to insert. And now let's go to our browser. I'll search for flutter.dev. Click Get Started. Click macOS. And if you come down, for update your path, come down just a little bit. Alright, so if we take this this line here that you see under update your path, it says export path equals to, and then path blah 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 blah. Copy this, come back, and here make sure you have clicked I so that it now says insert, and now Command V to paste it. Now what we want to do is remove what is within the square bracket. So bring your cursor on this / and then start clicking delete. Delete until you have deleted the pair of /. Click $home all caps / developer DEVELOPER / Flutter in lowercase FLUTTER. So this is the path, export path, home, developer, Flutter /bin. Click escape, WQ shift 1 for exclamation. Click enter. Now get rid of this terminal and open up a new instance of terminal. Write Flutter space doctor. Enter. So Flutter, as you can see, has now installed properly, and now it's gonna do some checking to see if all the tools are installed properly to use Flutter without a single problem. Let's wait and let's see what shows up. Great, so the checking is done, and firstly we are going to start with this first issue that we have. It says to resolve this, run flutter space doctor space dash dash android dash licenses. So command C to copy it, and I'll paste here, command V. Click enter, and now it's just going to be Y enter, Y enter. Y on your keyboard, enter. Y on your keyboard, enter. Y enter, Y enter, Y enter, and we are done. So now let's run this Flutter Doctor again. Now you can cycle through these commands by using your up and down arrow in the keyboard. So now I'm just going to click up arrow and then up arrow and click enter. And now we only have this bit to tackle. It says for this issue to install https blah 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 until this installation. So command C and come back here, paste it here. For this link that we copied over from the terminal, it says getting started has this installation where it says sudo gem install cocoa pods. So command C to copy it, come back and command V, paste it, enter, put your password, and this should be the very final step of our installation. Just wait a little while for this to finish installing, and then we will run our first app to see if everything is working properly. So Cocoa Pod installation is now done. We are going to run Flutter Doctor one last time to see if everything is working alright now. So let's wait and see. Great, no issues found and everything is now ticked. Great. Now we will install Flutter for Android and for iOS to see if the default app is working alright. Now it's about time that we create our first app. Open up Visual Studio Code. Don't mind this, I'll just remove my older files. What you want to do is make a folder here, but for me, I'm going to make a folder inside my documents. I put it in this work directory, and then I'm gonna make a new folder called installations. Installs. I'll just make it installs. And this installs directory, I'll drag it into this workspace. Now you see I'm within this installs directory, like the one I have pulled down. Trust it, yes. Now click Shift tilde, Control tilde on your keyboard, Control and tilde, to have this terminal up. Inside of this installations folder, what we want to do is write FLUTTER Flutter space CREATE. So this should be you should be very careful with this. Flutter space create space. So Flutter space create space has to be same every time. You cannot change this. Flutter space create space, and everything in this line has to be lowercase. And now I'm going to pass a project name, and I'm gonna say it my_app. So as you can see, each and everything here in this line has to be lowercase, and you can only have spaces here and here. So Flutter space create space your project name. Inside of your project name, you can only have underscrolls as a meaning of space. You cannot have space literally. Click enter, and it should start creating an app for us. Great. So the app is now ready. If we go inside this installations, you see my app. So now drag this into the workspace. And what I want to do is first go to this lib. Later, when we are in the course, I'm going to explain all of this, but not now. Just bear with me and check if everything is working properly. Go to main.dart. Here, wait a bit for the analyzer to finish analyzing. As you can see, this analyzer is analyzing. And after this one is done, we are going to boot up our Android virtual device that we downloaded just some minutes ago. Great, so the analyzer has finished analyzing. We can come to this place here where it says Chrome Web JavaScript or whatever it says. If you hover over it, it's gonna say something like devices, one device connected or something. Click here, and now this is the list of devices that you have available at your arsenal. You can run this app on the Chrome browser, you can run it on the iOS simulator, or one of these two Android devices. I'm going to go with this Android emulator that says cold boot. Click this, and now it's gonna boot up the Android device. Click OK. And as you can see, this is what we downloaded from Android Studio. This is our Android virtual device, and this is going to work exactly same like a real Android device. We can test our apps without actually needing to have a separate device. With our Android device now up and running, let's click this run that you see on top of void main. On top of void main, you see this run. Click this button, and it will start show off this control panel, which means that the code has started executing on the device. If you click Control tilde, should have this terminal. and you will see here. Now if you are running it for the very first time, it's going to take quite a long while. So please bear patience and wait for it to start up. But I have already done it before this video, so we can save ourselves some time inside the video. And with that, now we are running our app on the Android virtual device. If you click this plus button, you will see this number showing up in your screen. So if you click it one time, it will show 1. It will click another time, it's gonna show 2. I clicked it quite a lot of time, that's why it came to 9. And this isn't very responsive in my system because I am running this recorder, and with the recorder my Android device becomes a bit laggish. Now, this arguably isn't the best looking app in the world, but nonetheless this is the right appropriate step towards our goal. Now, we still have one more thing to do. If I stop it and get rid of this virtual device, we are running it on a Mac system, and we have access to iOS simulator as well. Now, to run our app on the iOS simulator, first let's wait for this to shut down. Just a little while. Great. Now we can come back here where it says about the device like I showed you last time. Click here and choose your Start iOS simulator. The iOS simulator will be our primary focus throughout this entire course, but whenever we have to jump to the emulator for Android, we will jump and show what it is that we need to fix or do. Now, this simulator is a third generation iPhone SE, which is fine, but I like the iPhone 13 better. To get the iPhone simulator, 15.3 and 13 from first be later and simulator you can hold plus your app and check your app in a device a 4.7 inch of screen. You can device that has a screen where this is because if your is looking the way you in the device across this device size really for free, needing to buy each and every time you need to new device size a bit again to see if with the iOS simulator now up and running, let's run this program on the iOS simulator and to see if everything is working properly. And with that we are going to be concluding our installation video, and later we are going to be jumping into our real app development. Now, one thing, if you are running it for the very first time on your simulator, it's going to take quite a long time, just like it took for the Android emulator. And each consecutive time after the first time, so the second time, third time, and so on and so forth, it's going to be really fast. But the first time, it's going to be long time. And let's wait a bit for it to finish building and launching, and then we are going to test it a bit to see if everything is working properly. So this is it. This is our app, just like what you saw for the Android device, but now we are running on the iOS device. If we click plus, it goes up And with that, our app is running successfully. So I'll conclude this video here, and I'll see you in the next one.